you've got a little angel story, I think, too, don't you, Dottie?
Oh, yeah, a couple of them, Paul.
Yeah. Jan was reminding me about you.
Angel room.
You have an angel
Yes, I have
room.
an angel room. The first time, could I have a Kleenex, Paul, that you haven't used? Thank you.
Yeah, that's...
The first time I ever witnessed an angel, and this has been wonderful tonight. This is refreshing. I had not met this sweet lady before to really hear her testimony, but it was awesome, and it brought new refreshment in me for songwriting. But the first time I ever witnessed an angel, I have never told this on TBN, but I was having some problem with sugar, and I was about, 89 pounds or so, and my feet were all infected, and I was having to stop along the road, and the big old bus was traveling in and get hotel rooms to soak the feet and medicate them, and it was really quite awesome. And I don't know if I've ever told this before or not, but I was going to have to come off the road. My health was that bad, and we were living in our first house in Nashville, and about 4 in the morning, we had closed all the doors and windows, and Buck was asleep, and I couldn't figure it out. The wind started blowing through my room, and I thought, well, I'll get up and I'll close the window or door or whatever is open. Got up, nothing was open. I walked to the window that overlooked our backyard. I looked out, the gas lights were burning, and I had this wonderful breeze to pass me again, and I could hardly see. I was losing my sight, and I could hardly walk, and could not hardly keep my food down, and it was really quite awesome. I blinked my eyes, Jan, and when I blinked my eyes, I opened to look at my backyard again. The backyard wasn't there. There was an outline of a holy city. And I said, oh my, this is wonderful. But I felt like my feet was being lifted off of the carpet. And all of a sudden, that breeze started stronger than ever. I turned to my right, and this, not an angel, but the wing from the shoulder down, it was Gothic. And it swept past my face. The wings, the feathers next to the shoulder were so huge and long I couldn't measure them. But the tips of the wing, when it went past my face, was so tiny I couldn't measure those. And I said, oh my, the Lord's come to take me home. And he loved me so much, he sent an angel to get me. And the rest of the outline of the angel was just like kind of cloudy, you know, but I knew it was Gothic because of the angel wing.
You thought you were dying then.
Oh, surely, because my health was so bad, and I was ready, you know, and I wasn't frightened or anything, and I wasn't sad. But I said, oh, you've sent an angel to get me. And I said, this is just like a woman. I said, Lord, wait a minute, please, just a minute. I want to wake Buck up and tell him I'm leaving. See, we exit and enter, you come in with such great, you know, you wouldn't want to leave and exit just out of this world. You know how we are.
I understand,
and,
yes.
the Lord spoke to me and said, oh, no, I didn't come to get you. I came to heal you.
Whoa.
And he sent a ministering angel of health to me. And right there, like an instant, a snap of the finger, my eyesight started coming back in clear vision. I felt my body being lifted up. I felt me literally being lifted. And right there, the Lord instantly healed me. And he spoke again, and he said, not only did I come to heal you, but I came to give you the holy hills of heaven called me. Standing right there in my tracks, that old song that you like so much. I wrote without a guitar or anything, right there. And so, 3 times in my life, the Lord has sent angels. And I don't mean to be on and forever. But
no, I love this.
2 years and 8 months, Buck and I went without a night off. I was, again, weary, and my body was tired. I was not sick, but, you know, just exhausted. We had not even a home of our own. Little old Reba was just beginning to sing with us. And we were in Kingsport, Tennessee. And we were sitting on the platform, and Reba was just a tiny little girl, just singing, standing up on a chair between us to sing with us. And the minister was getting ready to introduce us, and I was just bursting into tears in my spirit. And I said, God, I'm too tired to sing. I'm exhausted. And I said, sometimes I wonder, Lord, if people even care, if they're aware that we're exhausted. You know, they just want you to give and give and give. And I just wonder, God, if you even care. You know, you ever been there?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I was sitting there, and I could hear, you know, faintly the preacher was building up the Rambos and building up this and that. And I thought, oh, Lord, I don't even want to sing. I want to go home and go to bed. And do you even care, Lord? And this was all in my spirits. All of a sudden, I looked coming up the steps of the platform. The most gorgeous little blonde hair. She could have been Jan's little daughter. The little banana blonde curls hanging down her back. About 3-year-old child, little girl. Precious darling. The little ruffles, you know, the little petticoat. She came walking up, and I had my lap, like a hand on my lap like this. Reba's sitting there, Buck over here. She pulls my arm back, climbs up in my lap, looks up into my face, and I think, Lord, what am I going to do with her? They're introducing me, you know. She looks up and rolls those big eyes and says, oh, Jesus said for me to come to tell you that he loves you, that he's aware of you, that he knows you're weary. And the tears was running off my face. And I hugged her and I said, oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. And I was just weeping. I was trying to get myself back in control. And she got down, walked away, and I punched Reba. And I said, wasn't that the most beautiful child? I was trying not to draw attention to the audience. I said, wasn't she beautiful? That child. Reba said, are you going crazy, Mother? I said, the child that was in my lap. She said, there was no child in your lap.
Okay.
I said, oh, yes, Reba, the little blonde with the banana curls. And I was going through the whole thing. She said, Mother, quit. We've got to sing. There was no child. And as I turned, she was gone, you know. I said, okay, Lord, okay.
Got the message.
I got the message.
Yeah.
Now, quickly, the Angel Room in Atlanta. I was on a dry. As I left California, I just wasn't writing hardly anything. And I was weary, you know, I was frustrated. We were having our furniture moved out. There sat our new house empty, and young men were coming to drive our cars back for us. One of the young men went over to check out my empty house. He walked upstairs, not knowing the room that I had asked Buck to let me have to do my meditation and my writing in. And there was a feeling, Jan, when I walked into the room. I knew there was something special. Never told a soul. I just knew it was my room. He wanted to check the house, checked it out, went up to this little room. To make a long story quickly short, he started into this room, and he was rocked back on his heels in this empty house. He said he heard giggling and laughter and sounds of music, sounds he'd never heard, none of the, you know, the notes that he was familiar with. And he said he thought, oh, somebody's in the Rambo's home. And so he peeped in, and he said they were ignoring him. But Gothic angels, once again, but in children's spirits. And they were dancing like Ring Around the Roses. And they had little silver trays. And all of them were carrying like different things, like musical scores, music notes, lyrics, charts. And they were running around and around in circles like little children. And they were dancing and singing and jumping up and down with all these pieces of music, you know. And they were saying, ignore him. I can't wait till she gets here and puts all this together, because we don't understand what it sounds like, see? And now when little children, my little housekeeper walked in with her little 4-year-old the other day. And I said, darling, you can play everywhere in the house except this room. All my guitars are in here. And she looked at me and she said, oh, Mrs. Rambo, but I know this is my favorite room. And she'd never been in there before. And I said, why? She said, oh, this is a special room. I'd love to play in this room. And everybody that walks in, sinners and Christians alike, are rocked back on their heels. And they cry. And they look at the chill bumps. The Lord sends angels to me to carry me to the throne room to give me songs. The angels don't know the songs because they haven't been redeemed.
No.
They don't know that I'm going to write about the grace of Jesus and the Holy Spirit overshadowing me and the healing. They don't understand that. They don't know that because they've never experienced that.